Man, I gotta say, let's forget going to the gym or yoga in the morning. Let's just hang out with Michael Franti, right? Thank you so much for coming in. I have so many questions. The first of which, I'm sure you've done earlier performances, but what's the earliest you've done a performance?
Earliest, one time we were playing in Jazz Fest in New Orleans, and we did a show at about 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and then we went to sleep, and we got up at 2, and we went to Tipitina's, and we started at about 2:30, and we played till 6 in the morning.
Wow.
And at the end of the show, I got a drum, and I started beating it and carried everybody like out. Didn't carry them physically, but with the sweep of the emotion I carried them out into the audience, out into the street.
Yeah.
And we ended the show out in the street at sunrise playing. So that's the earliest you've ever played. But it's different getting up at the crack of 8:45.
Yeah, it sounded great. So we none of us will complain about anything.
Thank you.
The new song we just heard actually is on your upcoming album, which comes out in January.
Yeah.
Stay Human Volume 2.
Yeah.
And Stay Human, the original album, came out almost 18 years ago?
2000 or 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've made this film that's called Stay Human, and it's all about how we hold on to our humanity in challenging times like the ones that we're living in right now. And basically the premise is a documentary, and the premise is like I wake up every morning and I read the news and I feel like, man, this world is I can't say it on radio.
Right. We all imagined it.
Yeah. And does anybody feel that way, by the way? Yeah, like you just wake up and you feel, and so and I'm somebody who gets down. I get depressed. I get anxiety, and something I've battled my whole adult life. And then I get out into the world and I meet ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things to make a difference in the lives of other people. And I'm reminded of what it means to be human and how important it is to hold on to humanity, even when things are the most challenging. For example, a couple named Hope and Steve December who live in Atlanta, and Steve is living with very advanced stages of ALS. And the first time I met him, his wife was tweeting me saying, "I want Steve to come to your show because you're his favorite artist, and it might be the last concert he ever gets to go to." So we invited him to this big festival, and they were on the side of the stage, and Steve was in a wheelchair, and he could only move his eyes and his lips. His whole body is rigged from ALS at this point. But when I'm playing this song, "Life is Better with You," he looks up at Hope and he whispers in her ear, "Hope, I want to get up and dance." So with all her strength, she lifts his rigged body up out of the chair, and they have this beautiful slow dance in front of 20,000 people who are cheering and crying, and I'm crying, and this big badass bass player, he's crying, So afterwards I said to Steve, "What did this mean to you?" And he said, "Michael, yesterday I was wheeling around the festival, and people don't really know how to connect with me because, my face doesn't move, and it's just hard." And he said, "But after that moment on stage, I became Steve." And suddenly people were saying, "Hey, Steve, come hang out with us, Steve. Come party with us. Come have a beer with us, Steve. We're happy you're here, Steve." And so from that, my wife and I started this nonprofit called Do It for the Love, and we bring people with advanced stages of life-threatening illness and children and adults with special needs and wounded veterans to see any live concert in any city by any artist in the country.
It's powerful. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, and I think thank you for I'm getting emotional. If you know the Johnson family, we're criers. To hear somebody like Michael Franti talk about suffering from depression is pretty powerful. So thank you for saying that. I think it's important for us to address that as a society. So thank you for that. I got to get my train of thoughts here. I'm going to look at my notes. Let's talk about your film, which is actually we added a screening here in Portland because so many people want to go see it.
Yeah. So this the first screening sold out, and so we've added an early matinee. I think it starts at 4:00 at the Alberta Rose Theater, and I do a Q&A afterwards, and then the three of us play an acoustic set afterwards. And one of the things is that we've been, usually you put out a film, or these days people put out films and go straight to Netflix or iTunes or something like that. And people like my wife and I, we get in bed and we've got each got a tub of Ben and Jerry's and some popcorn, and we got the laptop sitting on the pillow, you know. And then we finish the Ben and Jerry's before the movie even starts. We're chomping it, washing it down with some popcorn, and then we watch the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then we make love and we roll over and fall asleep, you know. And nobody actually sees the movie. So I thought, rather than just do that, let's put it in theaters where like hundreds or thousands of people can watch it at the same time. And it's kind of been really exciting to do this. You know, I don't really remember ever going to a theater where where there was literally 1,000 people or 1,500 people, like some of the stops, and everyone cheering and crying and laughing at the people in the film. And it's been a really cool experience to sort of take it, I guess, you know, old school, you know, and
well, I think that speaks to the point of the movie, is that human connection. I mean, as great as it probably is watching Netflix with your wife, and other things, that being in that theater with all those people, that's the experience. That's the Michael Franti experience for me. Is the way you touch people is powerful, and to watch that, I think they're going to get that as they watch the movie. You're I don't want to say you're a dad. You've been a dad. You're a new dad.
I'm a new dad.
Like within like the past
9
2 months?
weeks old. 9 weeks. Taj.
Congratulations.
9 weeks. Yeah. His name is Taj, like the Taj Mahal, and he's my new teacher. And one of the things I've learned from him is the power of facial communication. Like, I walk in the room, and if he's a little bit pouty and sad, my face just goes, "Oh, Taj," you know. And if he smiles at me, I get so happy. I'm like, "Taj, yeah, you smiled at me. Did you see that? You smiled at me." And he makes this like poop face when he's gonna go poo. He goes, and if I see the poop face, I go, "Oh no, oh jeez." But it's a reminder of how, like, you walk down the street and one person will smile at you, and it makes you smile back, and it makes you feel good. And I think it's just an important thing to remember, how we project. It affects other people, and sometimes other people need that, and sometimes we need it, and so it's good to have a practice of, you know, practice smiling, practice, you know, being expressive with your face, with your words, with, you know, your kindness, your assistance for somebody, being polite. Those things, that they make a difference.
One last question before we get back to the music. Thanksgiving just days away. What's Thanksgiving like at the Franti house?
Well, it's kind of, we have you know, like gratitude week, I guess. You know, we you know, we recognize in our house that, you know, Thanksgiving was, you know, for indigenous people of this country, is an invasion, you know, and so we celebrate it as a day when we express our gratitude for our community, our family, the bounty that we have, and we usually go around the table and everybody says what it is that they're thankful for in their life in this time, and we chow down on some good food, you know.
Is it turkey at your house, or
it's like a tofurkey?
Tofurkey, yeah. I was gonna ask. All right. I butterflied my first turkey the other day.
Oh wow!
And that was quite an experience. And I think I might actually be heading your way, because you get your hands into the guts of an animal, and you're like, I don't think I want to eat this anymore. We're excited to have you here in the Bloodworks Live studio. How about more music from Michael Franti?